Beck and welcome to my last currently reading video for 2024. If you haven't seen one of these before, I usually do 2 check-ins. So this is obviously my first one, and then I do another one in a couple of days' time to go, hey, this is what I'm thinking about reading, this is where I'm at now. And then in a few days' time, here's what I finished reading, here's what I picked up, that kind of thing. So it gives you a bit of a coverage of what I've got going on my radar right now. And if you are a Brandon Sanderson fan like me, you will probably be in the same boat, and that is reading Wind and Truth, which is his 5th book in the Stormlight Archive series, the 5th book to conclude a 5-book story arc, and the next arc of this series is starting in 10 years' time. It's technically the conclusion to a series that I have loved for years and years and years, and it's taken me not actually as long as I thought to read it, still a decent amount of time to read it because obviously it's size, but I think I'm doing quite well considering. To show it on camera, it actually doesn't look that different, but I've read 62%. So that is the equivalent of like 840 pages, and it's 1,300 pages long. So I've got 500 pages left, which is technically an entire book. That's ridiculous to me. I'm trying to finish this obviously before the year ends so that I can count it to my reading goal for this year. And my reading goal I initially put at 65 books, and I've definitely surpassed that now. I've finished 73 books. This is book number 74. And part of me wants to go, but what if I can read 75 books in 2024 rather than 74? So part of me wants to read and finish another book after I finish Wind and Truth. I don't know how realistic that's going to be though, because we are just approaching the cusp of Christmas Day right now, and that doesn't leave me a lot of time left in the year around social commitments to finish another book aside from this one. But am I going to try and do it anyway? Probably yes, because I really want to do my reread of Iron Flame before the 3rd book comes out in January, which I've said a few times before. I've obviously reread Fourth Wing, the first book, and this one is a 600 and something page book that apparently I'm like, I can fit this into a few days. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can be optimistic, right? So my plan going forward is finish Wind and Truth, however long that takes me, and then start this regardless, because it might end up crossing over into becoming my first read of 2025, which I'm fine with. I don't mind crossing over books in the last couple of days of the year into the new year. Like, honestly, that still counts for me. Goodreads goes down because everyone's calibrating their challenges and that kind of thing. So it's kind of a grey area for me anyway, and I don't really put too much stock in the end of this year and then the start of next. Like, it all kind of blurs together in that weird grey area after Christmas. So if I can start this dragon spicy romance book before the year ends, that would be great. But given that I'm still reading Wind and Truth and I've got the equivalent of a whole book to go, it's like I've got one of these left to go already in the year, and I want to fit another one in, which is 500 pages and 600 pages. Ambitious, yes, but I'm also off work now, like I'm on leave. So it could happen. And the audiobook has come up a few times on Libby from my library. So I'm like, maybe I could also get the audiobook and make more headway on this. So there are options. That said, I also have a couple of other audiobooks coming up from Libby. One of them is an Emily Henry book called Funny Story. And I think this is about 2 people whose partners break up with them, and their partners get together and they're left behind, and they're like, we need roommates now that we're single, and so they move in together, and I think they form a romance together. So it's like the exes of both relationships getting together, which is obviously why it's called Funny Story, because it's completely ridiculous. And I think it will be an enjoyable time. And for me, it's summer right now, so I think it will work in terms of my mood, because I want more romances around the warmer weather. Potentially that one. And then I've probably got a few other audios on my radar, but I'd have to double check Audible and Libby first and see what's bubbling under the surface. Perhaps in my next update, if I have an audiobook on my mind, I will let you know. But for now, I just want to get to Wind and Truth and then hopefully Iron Flame after that. Ambitious, I know, but I really want to do it. I just don't think I can, but I really want to. Okay, it is now several days later. I'm filming this on the 27th of December, so I still have a little bit of time during this year to finish this book, because I'm sure you will guess that I've not quite got to the end yet. However, I've got this much left, and that means I'm 88% through Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, and it has honestly felt like it has taken me so long to read this book. There is always a risk with epic fantasy books that have a lot of characters in them that you don't love every single perspective. And true to form, I've not been enamored by every perspective in here, but I have been at least interested in the world building and what different characters have to offer the story. So while I'm not as emotionally invested in every single perspective I read, I am like peripherally interested at the very least, and that's been helping me get through this. Currently I'm at page 1194 and this has 1344 pages. So roughly I've got 100 plus pages to go, and I think I could do it probably not today, but I could probably do it before the year ends, which puts me in an odd position because what if I finish this and then I've got a couple of days left of the year? Like, what am I gonna do? I did say that I would start an audiobook, potentially Emily Henry, but I honestly just don't feel like anything because I think this is acting like a radio signal block in terms of my reading mood. Like, I do not know what I want to read after Wind and Truth, at least, because all I can see that is like looming over me at the moment is Wind and Truth. So it's really hard to see past that. So sorry that this has been like a Wind and Truth update video, which is a bit annoying, but I was hoping that I'd have other things going on by now, namely Iron Flame, which I really wanted to reread, but I'm thinking that maybe I can just start this as my first book in 2025, but I'm also like, do I want to start the year on such a long book? Usually I start the year on a shorter book and it makes me feel like I have more momentum when I finish reading it because I can move on to another short book, but then this one is 600 plus pages, which feels ridiculous, but the writing is bigger in this, the chapters are shorter, so it naturally feels like it will go a lot faster than Wind and Truth will. And honestly, that's really what I'm hoping for. As soon as I finish Wind and Truth, I'm going to dive into my reread of this one. Maybe I'll give it like a day settling or something and then dive into this one because I know that my brain is going to be in overdrive after finishing Wind and Truth because it's such a complicated book. And that's also the thing, like when I'm tired at nighttime is usually when I read, but a lot of the time I need my full brain to focus on Wind and Truth, and that is not the case for Iron Flame. Not to cast aspersions on Iron Flame at all, but it feels like it's not as complicated in terms of the whole different universes being connected and the books being connected in different series. And so there's a whole like subplot. I feel like I've got a mind map on the wall as well as reading Wind and Truth for all of the connected characters. So it doesn't happen the same in Iron Flame, which is a huge relief because I just want to read about spicy times and dragons, and that's exactly what this is going to deliver to me. So yes, disappointingly, or I guess predictably, this is still what my reading landscape looks like, and I was hoping that I would be a little bit further ahead, as I've said, at the end of this year, but it just turns out that this book is really freaking long, so I'm doing my best. I'm sure people have already finished this Wind and Truth book, and power to them because it is long. Like, it is so long. How do you do that and have responsibilities and a life to lead? Like, I could not. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Let me know what you're finishing off your reading year with. I would love to know. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come and chat to you down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.